Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Find Your Voice podcast. Today, I want to give you a little update. So, the last episode that I just published recently, very recently, was only audio. So, if you are watching on YouTube, what I'm referring to today is audio only, and I will put the link in the description box here on YouTube if you want to just listen, because this is an update in reference to what I talked about in that episode. So I feel like I have recorded this already, but here's what happens. I record a lot of content. I have 5 YouTube channels now, which not every one of them is like regular content, like on a frequent basis, but just whenever there is an update. And I feel like last week, there have been a lot of holidays, but I feel like last week I recorded this update, but I can't find it. I feel like I've recorded, like I've talked about this, but I can't find it. So in my audio only update, I talked about being in this dilemma. Well, maybe it's not a dilemma, but it was a decision that needed to be made about how do I start investing more into my business in the US to fulfill all the requirements for my E2 investor visa so that we can eventually move over there. The prerequisite is to have that visa. And in order to get that visa, I need to invest a minimum sum. So 60, 70, 80K is probably the minimum, and which would be ideal to reach that at least. And I do have business expenses anyway. What I have to do though is to transfer the money over into my American account, which I have now, and then pay everything from that American account. But at the same time, the US, of course, wants me to invest into a business in the US, and they want me to invest money into, in the United States. So currently I have 3 team members who are partially in the United States. So one of them is in the US. She's only part-time. She helps me out a little bit here and there. She's very important for the team though. And then I have one lady, she is my main assistant, and she is in Spain. She's a British lady, but lives in Spain. And then I have my video editor who lives in the Philippines. The problem right now is, or maybe not the problem, the challenge is that I want to invest as much as possible in my US LLC business. But at the same time, I already have these expenses that go not into the US. So I was thinking about it would be actually best to have team members, because the requirement also is to create jobs in the US. And so it would have been the best to actually have my team in the US. So they're US citizens or permanent residents. I pay them, and then that all counts toward investing in my business. And these are monthly costs that I have anyway. So it's not anything additional I have to invest. But the problem is that 2 of my team members are currently not in the US. So I was debating whether I should continue working with my now assistant, who is in Spain, or if I should instead not work with her anymore. And I was very open and transparent, and I talked to her about this situation that I need to invest in the US, or should I just get someone in the US and just not work with her anymore and let her go? And I decided that the sensible thing is to continue working with her, because really the truth is it costs a lot of time and money to actually hire someone new, to onboard them, and to get them plugged in with everything. It's a lot, like all the tools, all the accounts, and all the training, and like how we do things in my business, and how we do like all the SOPs, all the standard operating procedures. It would be a lot. It would take a lot from my time to get to look for someone, to look through resumes, to take on all the applications, and then to start talking, to interview, and then to find someone, and then to onboard them, and all the things. So I've decided to keep my assistant now. Ultimately, and I've shared that in my audio only episode, I want someone to really work full-time for me, to take over sponsorships, affiliate marketing, and all the social media, which kind of all goes hand in hand, to come up with a strategy, not just like let's post something, but whatever we post always has the goal of like, this has to generate revenue. It has to provide value, so that we make it very clear that what I have to offer is exactly what my audience needs. The right audience, the right people we want them to find me, or we want the people to find me because I'm the right coach for them. And that, to come up with an entire strategy that also incorporates sponsorships, which we haven't really taken advantage of, with a YouTube channel that we're now approaching 270,000 subscribers. And I have a Facebook group, for example, that has more than 5,000 members, but it's like deserted. No one's really active and we haven't done anything in it. And I know there are strategies we can use to actually reactivate it and to also actually get people on the email list and all that stuff. Those are things I just don't have capacity. No one in the team has capacity right now. And I would love, the goal is really ultimately to hire someone full-time who's going to take over all that. And the goal, of course, is that the person I'm hiring generates more revenue than I'm going to pay them eventually. Like after about the first 3 months, when we start coming up with strategies and we get them fully onboarded and plugged in and everything. I don't expect that right away. It's not like I'm expecting miracles, but little by little, we're going to start with sponsorships, then affiliate marketing, which kind of goes hand in hand. Whenever there's a sponsor, usually we also provide an affiliate link for the product that I'm talking about. And I only want products that I'm totally in love with, that are like so valuable, things that I use myself, things that I love. And usually that includes affiliate marketing. And I could mention in every single video, there could be a sponsor and there could be some affiliate marketing kind of thing, like a link for a product and I get a little percentage. That adds up because we have 2 videos every single week on YouTube. I have more than 1,000 videos out there already. 2 years down the road, people find all those links and click them and maybe love the product. That's a lot of money we're leaving on the table right now because we have not had a strategy. And I've just, a few months ago, I just started for the very first time worked with a sponsor. And you may not know this, but when you have a YouTube channel, even when you have a small YouTube channel, there are large amounts of money you can make from sponsorships. So even with a small channel, you can ask for thousands. In a channel my size, the potential is huge. You could ask for thousands of dollars for one sponsored video. And we have 8 videos every single week. So that is a huge opportunity. But I need someone to actually focus on it it's a lot of work. It's work for me creating the content that is tailored, like sometimes I want to showcase a product, but it's also a lot of work, like finding the right brands to work with and connecting with them and talking to them and negotiating, coming up with a good package, that like both sides benefit, of course. They want to sell the products and I want my audience to benefit and like have awesome products. And I want to benefit because I'm going to have an extra stream of income. And then, of course, after a while, they would start really also starting a social media strategy. I have all these amazing visions and I know it's going to be a lot for that person, but I know it's all possible because I follow some people and they're like amazingly doing this. And it's not them doing it. It's someone in their team doing it. I love creating content. And so I would love to have someone to work with where I and that person, we together can come up with a strategy and like a plan of what are we doing on socials? Because TikTok is not the same as YouTube. YouTube is not the same as Instagram. Even short videos don't perform the same. There's a different tone and a different strategy and different kinds of content that goes well on each platform. Pinterest is another platform we haven't even utilized. There are a lot of things. I have so much content out there. We could create ebooks and materials that, like on Pinterest is very visual, video content or infographics. I just don't have the capacity. Like all my content is there. So using AI to create a lot of things, like you can transcribe videos, for example, and then you can feed it into an AI tool that it can write an article in my tone. So it's not like I'm asking AI to create content, but it's just using what I have said, the content that I already have created, but just to kind of specifically tailor it to either a social media post or an article or a blog post. Like I haven't done blog posts. I used to have a blog where I like always wrote like very valuable articles, including downloads and infographics. We're totally leaving that on the table. But point is, I've had to make a decision, like what am I focusing on? And I can't do everything all at once. So having a person full time would be amazing. And that person will be in the United States. But in order to be able to hire that person, I need to create a budget because right now I don't have an extra budget for that person. So in order to create that budget, I'm going to keep everyone on the team who is there right now. And we are starting to run ads. I've just created a new webinar or like a free training session. We don't like calling it webinar. It's a free training session, how to sing anything, like how you can sing opera and pop in all those different genres, all at the same time. Well, not literally at the same time, but like you can perform all of it and go back and forth and not hurt your voice and still like grow and be better. That is something that I have created. We have created the sales page, like the sign up page for that. There's a video on there, and then the video, the training video, which is about 45 minutes or so. In that, I also then tell everyone about my membership program, which is a monthly recurring revenue. So that's really what I'm focusing on. We're also going to start running ads, to that free training and running ads to that. So hopefully that's the strategy to create more income. Another thing, we're going to run ads and it's going to lead to my course, which normally is $349, but we're literally giving it away. I haven't decided, 9 or 19, maybe 19, a little bit skin in the game, but something where people easily can say, oh, okay, $19, I'll check that out, because I really want a singing course and it has more than 70 videos. It's like the complete vocal technique. And I'm gonna, just for those who read the ads, I'm gonna actually give it away because we're not really selling it as a standalone anymore. It is part of the membership program, but you can literally get it for $19 now then, but only to people who see the ads. And those are only gonna be people who are not on my current email list, who are not in my ecosystem, but they're gonna get on my email list. That's the way we're gonna get them on the email list. So I'm providing a lot of value. And then we have a different strategy, which we haven't developed yet, for people who are actually on my email list. I used to do like weekly newsletters, but I've decided at some point to let that go because I just don't have capacity. It's a lot of work. I spent like a couple hours on that, looking for, like, there's so much new content every single week that we put out there. And then I'll wrote a little paragraph about this content and that content. This is a new YouTube video we had. This is something on Instagram I published. And this is like, something new here, all the different things, which in the newsletter, we could also incorporate the sponsors and the affiliate links, put it in there because there are like about 10,000 people on the email list. So that is the strategy I want to create ASAP, of course. Create the budget to hire that extra person. And well, the cool thing is even Facebook ads, like I can transfer money into my American bank account and then like let all those costs for the Facebook ads be counted toward my investment in my business because I'm building this business. I'm building the Freya Casey LLC, which that is my business name in the US now, like that I'm building. So yeah, that's what I've decided. And I feel like that's the sensible thing. I debated like, should I take like a business loan or something, but I don't want to do that. I think it's the best way is to cash flow everything, but I also don't want it to take too long. And yes, of course, now I got another letter from the German IRA and it seems like to never end. I just already paid about $40,000 this year in taxes. And now I have another like 7. It's about $7,000. It's because they're basing everything on that 1 year where I made suddenly so much more money. But then the year after my twins were born, like in 2022, we haven't done the taxes for that. We haven't claimed it yet for that year because then it's going to become apparent that everything that I have prepaid according to 2021, which was when I made a lot more money, and then it went down in 2022, I'm going to get that back because I already prepaid my taxes for the last 2 years. So that $40,000 and that another $7,000, it's for the last 2 years that I'm prepaying now what I should have prepaid then because, well, it's all a mess. It was all based, as soon as you do your tax, you claim your taxes, and then they will base the next year on that. So in 2020, I had less than in 2021. So 2021, I prepaid based on 2020. But then it turned out that I had so much more revenue in 2021 that now in 2024, when I claimed and I sent in all the paperwork, they decided the prepaid was not enough. So I had to pay the back taxes. Does that make sense? I hope you understand what I talked about. So I'm kind of dragging behind like 2022. And then I had like all this childcare cost of my babysitter. That's a lot more expenses that I've had to put out. I'll be able to claim it, but we haven't caught up. Another bill's coming in. So I want to invest in Facebook ads. And now I have another $7,000 to pay for taxes, which I've depleted my savings, which I'm grateful. I had $50,000 savings, but I don't want to do the last bit and just deplete it to zero. But I got that letter that like I need to pay like in the next couple of weeks. So what I'm doing now is I did a workshop last year that It's a very high ticket. It's very intense. I'm spending an entire weekend with a small group of singers, and that was really awesome last year. I met some amazing singers, and we were right here in my studio for an entire weekend, like every day from 9 to 5 p.m. or 9 to 6 was it? And we had like a lunch break together. We spent that time together, and it's really for advanced singers, or it's for those who are very serious, who want to make money and put themselves out there and make a difference in the world with their music. And I've decided to do another one of those. So it's $2,000 for the workshop for the weekend. And if they want to upgrade to VIP, which means it includes another entire month following that of coaching via a video messenger app, then it's $2,500. So, and last time I sold 4 tickets. And so that was $10K basically that I made in one weekend. Putting it out again. I did put it out again last year and no one really, I don't know why. The first time I had 4 signups. So I know it's possible again that I'll get at least 4 signups. And I'm putting it out there in between our other marketing efforts, because I never look at marketing in a way as like I'm going to bother people. What I want is like, I know me because I'm on a lot of email lists of people who do things that I'm interested in, like, even marketing and business and all those things. And a lot of times there will be long periods of time where I either don't open the email or I just open it and kind of skim through and it's like, it's not what I can do right now. And then there will come the time where it's like the exact right time. It's exactly the offer I needed. Maybe they've had offers before that are like, it's not what I need. I need something more intense. So I'm not interested in any like huge group coaching programs because I'm over that. I'm interested in the very advanced. I'm interested in the intense one-on-one. I want the person who's one of the best in the industry. I want to learn from them personally. I want to see them. I want to be with them and I want to spend time with them intense. And I want them to give me personal feedback, like for my situation. And that's what that workshop is for. It's not, like I'm like that. I look for that. And when, I'm on a lot of email lists, and I remember last year I joined this mastermind group of Chris Stucker, who is in the UK, and I've followed him for years. I went to 2 of his summits. It was called the Youpreneur Summit for, solo or like personal brand entrepreneurs, online business. I was there twice, and I was in his membership program for a few months, and then I just followed him. I just, I listened to the podcast sporadically too. But then I decided now is the time. Now is the time I want, this is exactly what I need right now. I want to join his mastermind group, which is like high level. So I joined it. And I know that there are people out there that are in my ecosystem or on my email list who maybe it wasn't the right time before. It wasn't exactly what they needed, or maybe my offers before weren't what they needed. And it was like that last time for that 2-day weekend workshop, that intense weekend workshop. There was one person who seemed to come out of nowhere. He was not on my email list. And I talked about my offer somewhere in a video. And he was like, that's exactly what I need. I want to go that weekend and spend that with Freya in a small, like a very intimate setting and really work on the things. So he came, and it's almost like out of the clear blue. In business, there are a lot of things you can do. It's not like this. It doesn't have to be this, always funnel what you do is like, you just, start small and they get the starting out offer. Like, I don't need starting out offers for things that I'm already advanced in. I don't need the beginner stuff. I don't need the group stuff. I want the intense stuff. So I might get on someone's email list and be like, what do you have? I did that even a couple years ago. I joined Jennifer Allwood's mastermind group, and I had never heard of her before. But in a matter of a week, I read her book. I listened to her podcast. I looked at her Instagram. I don't even remember where I found her. I found her somewhere on the internet, and then I started digging into what is she all about. And I instantly decided that's exactly what I need. I somewhere read or heard that, she has a mastermind group. And I'm like, okay. So I sent a DM on Instagram. I'm interested in this. How much is it? Can I join? And I joined. So they didn't even launch it at that time. It wasn't even officially open for registration, but I just asked them and I joined. So just to tell you, so sometimes it doesn't have to be this only when we launch is someone going to actually get into this program. So I'm putting it out there, believing that there are a handful of people who that's exactly what they need right now. And hopefully that'll happen within the next couple of weeks. Ooh, because it makes me nervous. Like IRS stuff, it's like, don't joke with them. You don't want to mess around with it. If there's a bill, you better pay it ASAP. Otherwise, they're going to come for you. They're going to block your account. It's happened to me before, more than once. They just block your bank accounts and you're like, okay, what am I doing? Luckily I have 4 accounts. So I have PayPal and like a debit card for that. What else do I have? Like I have a bunch of accounts. I have a Wise account. So that's always something that it's not on their radar. They could find it, of course, if they wanted to. They can find out anything they want to find out. They could find out, but it's not currently on their radar unless they were going to dig. They have my 2 main German bank accounts that they could block, which they have before. And it's kind of ridiculous because I call them and like, in order for me to pay you and to take my investments out and to pay, I'm going to have to you have to unblock the account. And I'm like, you can trust me. What am I going to do? Like, you're going to unblock the account and then am I not going to pay? I don't want to mess with this. I'm going to pay, it's like, but you have to literally let me act with my account and transfer some stuff. So that's the update. We're going to create a budget for this. Oh, and this is my dream team member right now. My current team is my dream team, but we just want to grow and I want to reinvest. But in order to reinvest, I need to pay the IRS first. And then I have some capacity to reinvest. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have some relief. The next payment for the IRS is due the end of June. It's always like the quarterly prepayment, which is going to be a lot again, because still they're basing everything off of that a couple years ago. We're going to fix it all eventually. But every time, every tax claim for a year, it's going to cost me about almost between $2,500 and $3,000 or euros to pay to my tax consultant / CPA to do all the things, to do all the numbers and to make the nice whatever they do to send off to the IRS. And so, yeah, that's it's like, I'm always like, don't send it off yet. Don't send it yet. Because when they send it, it's going to be a couple months. And after that, I have the bill from the IRS. I'm like, how much is it? How much do I have to pay? Because they can all usually tell me how much it is that I have to pay because their software calculates it. So this time I'm going to be like, okay, tell me how much do I have to pay in back taxes? Do I get a return? File right away? Do I have to pay back taxes? Hold on a couple weeks. All right, that's all for this update, and I'm excited. Oh, one more thing. Embryo transfer is happening soon. I've not decided about the protocol. I'm still deciding, should I start taking the birth control pill right now because of what they want, because I don't have regular cycles anymore. I'm, turning 50 this year. Probably after the pregnancy, everything my body is like, okay, that's it. For me, it's not it yet. And you can still have a baby and not have cycles. You can even be in menopause, and what you have to do then is to take some hormone medications. So what the doctor wants me to do, since I don't have regular cycles, is to take the birth control pill for a month and then stop it. When you stop the birth control pill, you don't ovulate, but what you do is when you stop it, it tells your body, okay, not pregnant, period. Because of the breaking off of the hormones. And so he wants me to have, sorry for the TMI. He wants me to go through one cycle and then start afresh. And then we will start estrogen and all that stuff. And then after 2 weeks, I'm going to have the transfer. And there's going to be 1 embryo transferred and we'll see how that goes. But I haven't decided if I'm actually indeed going to go for take the birth control for a month. I'm still thinking because I still have cycles, irregular it may be, and long stretches between the cycles. But it's possible that I can still use a natural cycle. And I've just talked to a couple of companies, and these are expensive devices, but they can track your cycle and predict ovulation. If I could use those, and even I contacted them because I wanted to ask them if they could sponsor that and send me their device if I show it off, because I have a personal channel where I document this embryo adoption journey. It's a small channel. It sounds 2,000, I don't know, about 2,300 or so subscribers. So it's small, but I think I stand for encouraging women of advanced age. That's in quotation marks. If you can't see it on YouTube, you can see it. Anything above 35 is advanced maternal age. But I encourage those who still have that strong desire to have children that it's possible. Because I know there are a lot of women nowadays, they wait and they wait and they wait. And then all of a sudden you find yourself and you're like beyond the 40 and it's like, what in the world? I wanted to be a mom so bad. What's happening? And then you can't anymore with your own, biologically. You can't with your own eggs because as a woman, that's just the reality. You're born with all of your eggs and you're not generating any new ones. So they're very old and they just degenerate genetically. That's just the truth. So, but you can have donors. You can have an egg donor. And in my case, of course, because I don't really have a partner, I have double donor. So it's leftover embryos from couples who did IVF and they can either discard them or they can, offer them to someone else. And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to offer, possibly give life and give that opportunity for life. Now, whether it works or not is not in my hands. That is in God's hand. But I want to try. So that's it. I hope to see you next time. Subscribe if you have not already for more updates. It's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. And a lot of really exciting things happening. Moving to the US, growing my business, growing my family, and doing this all as a single mom of choice of 3, possibly soon 4. And then how am I going to navigate my business? It's never can I, it's how can I? All right, talk soon. Bye-bye.